How's it going, guys? Grant with the Noble Dogs. I am here with Dominique and Abrahani, and we are here working with Greyson. And Greyson's a very friendly dog, very good with people, but he does have a little bit of social stuff where he'll go for the dog's face, which can cause a little bit of issues with dogs kind of biting him because, you know, they're a little bit nervous. And we want to get him to walk absolutely beautifully on the leash. That way the kids can walk him. And we live in an apartment complex, so we want to make sure that we can go down elevators, make sure everything's calm and that he's good. So make sure we can trust him on the leash, make sure that we can have him trusted off the leash and that he's social, not only with dogs, but kids and everything like that. And also the whining, he whines a lot, so we want to make sure that that overall anxiety is kind of mellowed out. Does he sleep in a crate, or what's your guys' crate
Right
activity
now he's
like?
in a crate. Before, like maybe a month ago, they were sleeping. We have another dog as well. They were sleeping in the room,
Okay.
but he was crate trained, and then mostly crate during the day when we're at work and school. But we've been letting him in the bedrooms. Not this last month though, because his whining has gotten worse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so one of the things that's helpful with the crate is just him being able to do nothing,
Yeah.
you know,
he
for
doesn't know how to
extended
do
periods
that.
of time. And when he has that crate, it kind of teaches him to do that. So not something that we definitely need to do forever, but how long have you owned him for?
About like 3 years almost.
3 years? Yeah. So by the end of the training, you should be able to lighten up on the crate stuff. But for right now, can't go wrong by just sticking with the crate.
Okay.
What I want to do is I want to go over what we found to be the most fun and effective way to train him. Doesn't mean it's the only way, but it is the way that we found to be the most fun and effective. First thing that I would advise doing is that we only feed him for training for the next 3 months.
Okay.
So no food in a food bowl, make him work for his food. And the reason why I found that we want to do that is it gets him to want to change his behavior, not be forced to change his behavior. And if you force someone to change, what happens typically is they're good when the force is applied, but then when the force is not applied, they're not going to be good. Kind of like teaching a kid how to play piano. If you force them to play piano, they maybe never will play again. If you get them to love playing piano, they might play for the rest of their life. So if we can get them to love doing the training, that's the move.
Okay.
Now, there's different ways that we're going to be using the food for training, but the first and most easiest way is just work with them like 15 minutes twice a day in the house. And I'll go over some of those simple techniques on what to do with it, but that's just a very basic starting point. And that's not kibble by kibble, it's just like 5 pieces of food at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. And if he doesn't want to eat during that training session, then he misses that meal. And that's just kind of how it goes. Now, the reason why we want to use the food for training is that's how almost every single professional animal is trained. So when I went to SeaWorld and went to the beluga encounter, they train them 7 times a day with all their daily food. They never put their food they never just throw the food in the tank and expect that the animal is going to be trained. They use it for training.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to have to do that for life, but I would advise that we do it for the next 3 months. Because if we stay consistent for 3 months, we'll be good for the rest of our life. If we don't do that, we may never be good. So we'll go over a couple things that I would recommend that we do with the food. First one is we teach them to make really good eye contact. And I'll send you a video on that after we get out of the class. But that doesn't involve going like this with your hand to your eye, because then you just following the hand. So we really want to teach them to make really good eye contact, because in dog training, if you're going to say no, you also have to tell them where they should go. So it's like constructive criticism. So we don't want to just be like, no, don't bark. We also want to teach them a better alternative. And the best way to do that is with this food. Don't do this instead. Why do I got to do it instead? Because you're going to get fed. Don't do this. What should I do instead? Do this so you get fed. And the easiest one is eye contact, because that's something that he can take with you everywhere. So whether you're at the park, in the elevator, if he's ever concerned or confused on what to do, he can always make eye contact and do that instead. So what I want to do is I want to show you the equipment that I'd recommend. What I'm going to recommend is a prong collar. Now, have you ever felt a prong collar before? You have?
Yeah.
Abrahani, have you ever felt a prong collar before?
Yeah, they have one.
Okay, cool. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to put the prong collar on, show you guys how to operate it properly, work with it. We should be able to see some pretty good changes with it.
Okay.
One thing that I'd be aware of with pit bulls in general, especially when they're first getting trained, they do have shorter hair. And just any type of metal moving can cause like slight irritation.
Yeah.
So one thing that I advise doing if you want to be extra cautious with them is just put a little bit of coconut oil on his neck. That way it just reduces the friction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why we stopped using it.
Yeah.
Well, not the coconut oil, but like I have a prong collar that's not as effective.
Mhm.
Like it clips in place and it doesn't like have the martingale like
Yeah, yeah,
quick
yeah.
release, but it did like irritate. We've tried on both dogs. It
Yeah.
irritates them because like it's just constantly there, and then their pain tolerance is high, so they just keep pulling anyway. So we stopped using it so they
Got it,
wouldn't injure
got it.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just hurt himself with it. Like, he'll just keep tugging.
Got it. So we're gonna use the training. We're gonna show you what to do. Should see a huge improvement with the training today. And then the key is using the food. So rather than trying to up their pain tolerance, up their motivation level.
Okay.
So we're gonna be able, we probably could use the leash and just make it happen with him. But if we can get him to be motivated to change, then we don't have to worry about a tolerance of anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's always the move, is try to motivate him.
All right.
Now, it might be too challenging at first to use the food on the walk, which is fine.
Yeah.
But as you progress, I'm going to show you some videos on how to use the food inside the home. Practice with that first, and then when your skills with your leash in the home match your skills with the leash outside the home, do it at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a perfect fit. See how high up the collar is? And I can rotate it. And then the reality is, this type of prong collar will pop off. So we want to have a carabiner on there as a safety measure. So that way, when it pops off, he's attached to something.
What is the carabiner? Oh, just like a regular collar?
Yep. See how it clips to just his regular collar?
Uh-huh.
There we go. And boom. All right.
All right.
So I'll get him started. So we're walking, stop, yank. And the key is, if he's in the right spot, he'll never feel the yank. So I can stand right here, look. He'll never feel it if he's in the correct spot. So that's a big part of it. I'm gonna be saying stop and yank, and you might be thinking, well, is he in the right spot? Is he not in the right spot? The key is you never have to think about it. You follow through with the action.
Okay.
Stop and yank. He's good. Stop and yank like this. He's good. Then you walk. So I'm gonna do it with my eyes closed just to show you how you'll be able to get to that point where you don't have to look, you'll just get into the feel of it. And you don't even have to pay attention, you just stop and yank. If he's in the right spot, he's doing good. So I'll do it with my eyes closed a little bit, and then we'll keep it going. So eyes closed, walking, stop, yank, yank, yank. Don't feel him, go to pet him, relax, start walking, stop, yank, yank, yank. I don't feel him, go to pet him, relax, and start walking again. Stop, yank, pet, and keep walking. Now I'm going to show you the second move, okay? Now the second move you don't want to do if he's highly distracted or might bark or lunge at a dog or something, because you may never think you'd get bit, but if you do this move, he could potentially bite you. So you want to do it when he's calm. What you're going to do is you're just going to do a hard pivot turn. So I'm going to plant my left foot, I'm going to pivot on it, and I'm going to get around him. Now if he's in the way, he's going to get bumped out of the way. So we're going to do it right here. I'm walking like this, turn, boom, and get him to realize, hey, I'm not trying to bump into you, but if you're not paying any attention, you're gonna get bumped into. So I'm walking like this, turn, boom. And we're walking like this, turn, boom. And eventually he's gonna realize, I gotta move out of the way. So now I'm gonna show you the last move. This is the most important move to remember. If you only remember one thing from today, remember this move. What you want to do is you want to step away from where he's looking, yank, and then don't worry about it today, but ideally you give the food on your leg where he looks.
Okay.
So we're going to walk this way like this, step over here, yank, and then love right here. So we're walking like this, walk away, yank, then love right here. So he learns, oh, okay, there's a way better option. That's kind of the name of the game. Use the food for training. If you're having a hard time, don't even love on him at all for free. Make sure it's all for good behavior with commands. That way you can control the positive things and we can reduce the corrections and stuff. All right, guys, so you saw the progress that we made just by a simple adjustment of equipment. Before where they were using a gentle leader, now we had it set up with the 2.25 Hermsprecher prong collar, and we were able to see the results with that. Now, you saw what we were doing. We're starting off really slow with the gentle corrections. Reason why, low level education, low level correction. And again, every time you yank, you need to be doing the opposite of what the dog's doing. That way they know what they should do to adjust. So whether that be stopping and yanking, moving to the side and yanking behind the back, or doing the turn move, every single one of those moves gives the dog an alternative behavior that they can do instead. Thank you for tuning in. Please practice these techniques, and we look forward to helping you with your Noble Dog.